On this, the national celebration of our Independence Day, I say to you and your family a happy Independence Day to you. Happy, happy, happy is the word, happy is the term. As Mrs. Eld and I wait to look over the Hudson River where the barges are getting ready to explode the night air with the smell of sulfur and cordite. Words cannot explain what is happening right now. The mess, the maelstrom, the cacophony, the, I don't know what you want to call it, the mess. They're letting Joe Biden speak. And on a Philadelphia radio station, he said something to the effect of he's a black woman with a black vice president. It's so mumbled, you don't know what to do. And I, being the conspiratorial minded, say to myself, is he really this bad? I mean, is he really there? Are they setting him up to do this? Is there something going on here that's I don't recognize in terms of a plan? Because can anybody be as bad as they are? Can anybody, can any organization, any group of people be horrible, as horrible as they are? I don't understand this. And you're probably the same way. I don't know about you, but if you're in your family, if you get called, and I for some reason have been called by people tend to ask me. They think by virtue of the fact that I am immersed in the subject, I am absolutely immersed. I am just layered in the subject like a bechamel sauce. I everything about it. So consequently, I get these wonderful calls from people saying, "What do you think is happening? That there is a tell me there is a plan here. Tell me that there is some realization of something. Tell me these people did not just realize or not know that Joe Biden was this bad. And tell me he is not accelerating in terms of his dementia or what have you." I was talking to friends of mine, professionals in the biz. I said, give me a real straight assessment. And something very interesting I heard was that in classic dementia, Alzheimer's, and that stuff that normally people think about, it's that immediate it's that immediate memory loss, the short term. That is the problem. That is the problem. It's the immediate short term, the immediate, where you say something and they don't remember what you've just said. Long term memory, retrograde, short term, retrograde amnesia. They don't really have. So he is not indicating any problem with that. He knows what the question is. He knows what you've just said. He never stops and says, "What is the question? I'm sorry, what was that again? Where were we? Where am I?" He doesn't do that. He will drift off, and his behavior is more, and this is very interesting, more indicative of delirium versus Alzheimer's and the like. And delirium is a mental state that causes confusion, disorientation, and difficulty thinking and remembering. And it can develop over hours or days. And it's a little different. It's kind of an altered state of consciousness. It's characterized by episodes of, again, this confusion. There's delirium tremens. It's a syndrome, not a disease. it affects people of all ages, but especially older adults who are acutely ill. So it's not necessarily the same. Now, is that better? Well, I don't know if that's better, but it's different. So to be fair, one must always remember that unless there is a physician or somebody who is a specialist who is involved in the assessing of the patient, we can guess all day long. We throw these names out like, lay people because we're experts in everything. Just like people throw out legal issues. I heard the other day somebody was an expert in immunity. There was this Kerry Washington, the actress, I guess, was saying something about something. So she's an expert in this. See, that's one thing that's great about America, because we are imbued with people who know everything. Okay. But here's the good part. And this is the interesting part. And this is the part that you should really pay attention to. Now, let's go through this and let's see if we can do this again. And it's very simple. I mean, it's very, very simple. And I'm so glad you can be with us. But it's very simple. And it works like this. And listen carefully. This is what I want you to tell your friends when you and your friends talk about it. Because one of the things that we do is we arm ourselves with a lot of with some good rational thought and critical thinking. Okay. And it works something like this. Number one, you tell your friends that as of today, it is 100. There are 124 days until the election. 124 days. Now, between that, now and then, there are debates, campaigning, interviews, a certain amount of flying around. Trump is out and about playing golf. Do you believe that there was a hidden camera or a hidden recording? Do you believe that it's in any way negative or hurts the president? I think it's exactly spot on. But he's 78. I was listening to an interview of Roger Waters and Piers Morgan. I wasn't a big fan of Roger Waters. I always took Gilmore's side in the whole Pink Floyd thing. I'm absolutely his biggest fan now because Piers Morgan is a hack. But the point I bring up is that Roger Waters is 80 years old. And he is absolutely lucid. So I want you and everyone to do me a favor and lose this thing called age. What they're trying to do is they're making this out to be Joe's age. So they're going to screw this up for other people. They're trying to make age the problem. Age is not the problem. It is dementia. It is delirium. It is whatever this man has, not his age. Not his age. I don't know how to tell people that. And that's a way that they cover it. They're saying, oh, no, this is just somebody who's so. No, it's not his age. It's some type of a pathology. See, that's different. When you say that somebody's older, you let people off the hook. You let his minders off the hook. You let these people say, well, you see, I did. This is just an age thing. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's just an age thing. Right. It's an age thing. Okay, yeah. See, it's not our fault. No, not at all. Now, here's the best part. So let's go through with this. 124 days until the election. Joe Biden cannot do this. He can't. There's just no way. Not only can he not do 125 days, but even if he goes and he gets elected, you could say maybe there's a switcheroo for Kamala Harris. We'll get to that in a moment. But he cannot possibly handle it until November. After, he can't even do an interview with a black podcast radio station who loves him. It's the nicest, sweetest, most non-confrontational man, and he was a black People are also attuned to this. What he might have gotten away with before, he will not get away with now. Same thing goes for the debate. Debates used to be throwaways. Debates, nobody cared about debates. Debates didn't matter. Debates were unimportant. Debates meant nobody cared about debates. Nobody cared. Now that's all we wait for. Now here's the next thing. So it's not going to be him, okay? You understand that? Okay. Let me make sure you got that. Make sure you grasp this. It's going to be, it seems, Kamala Harris. Now that's what they're saying. And remember, we have no say. And what you think makes the most sense has nothing to do with what they will do. Do you hear what I'm saying? Nothing to do. Ladies and gentlemen, Pollyanna Forever says it is undeniable that there is divine intervention with regard to the astounding events surrounding Trump's rise, his ability to dodge the proverbial silver bullet, and his euphonious domination in the polls. Do you agree? 150,000%. I'll go a step further. There is a God, and God is parting the waters. This is nothing short of miraculous. This is a miracle. This isn't just a turn of event. None of this could ever have occurred without some form of supernatural intervention. I can't think of any reason for it. Let me go to the $1 million issue. And first, let me apologize to you. And let me tell you, please, be very careful how we say this. Be very careful how we say this. Because when people are cornered and they don't know what to do and don't know what to say, they will come back with, you're being racist. Remember, racist, conspiracy theory, misinformation, disinformation. We've been there before. We've been there. All of us have been either racist or I don't know what we are. But when they don't know what to say, it is that. Now listen to me and listen carefully. Okay? Okay. Number one, I don't know who picked her. I don't know who thought she would be great. Maybe people thought she looked nice or she sounded nice, or I don't know. But she is not a nice person. She doesn't get along with people. Remember that? Did you hear this? This is not good. You have people who are trying to be good, trying to help you. And when you turn on those individuals who represent your support staff, you end up shooting yourself in the foot. And it makes no sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. So, they don't like her. Remember all the people who were leaving her staff, leaving her employ, leaving her team? They couldn't stand it. Great. The next issue. How do I say this? How do I say this carefully and specifically and accurately without intimating or giving you the wrong idea? Let me see if I can do this. Kamala enjoys being Kamala. Did you see her on the June 16th, whatever that was, that cacophony with Billy Porter, the dude with the beard and the dress? That's Kamala. Kamala wants so much to show her more urban bad self. She likes it. She loves it. She dropped an F-bomb. And all of a sudden, you notice how people get into these colloquialisms. And my mama said, throw out of a coconut tree. Now, wait a minute. She's never spoken like this. She has, and people are going to say, wait a minute. Is she trying to portray some type of authentic connection to the Black urban experience by taking on this affect? Remember when Obama did this? Ain't nobody know. All of a sudden, he's a preacher. He's the Reverend William Peters from Bethel AME and Valdosta, Georgia. Who is this? Hillary did it. Ain't no, never mind. Why do they do this? Why? Team Alaska wonderfully has gifted 5 Lionel Nation memberships. Thank you, team. Thank you for that. The other day she was interviewing, she was on the phone talking to, I keep asking my beloved wife, I have no idea who this was. What's her name again? Taraji Peanuts. I don't know who the hell. Taraji P. Henson. I don't know who. I have no idea. She's an actress, and I proudly say, I don't know. So she's doing this, and she wants so much to just say, I am with you. I am, how do I say this? Yes, I'm the vice president, but I am soulful. I'm a sister. I enjoy this. Got it? That's what I want to do. I want to drop F-bomb. Remember when she was running and she was talking about smoking weed because of the Jamaican in her? And a lot of people say, wait a minute, hold it. You were absolutely horrific to African Americans, in particular, by virtue of you stressing this extremely draconian criminal. Oh, black man in jail. She is a traitor, but she's a phony. But deep down inside, she says, I love this. Jean Marie, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Jean Marie. Thank you, dear. Oop, hang on a minute. Just a minute. She's just, right? That's what she wants to be. Biden, too. Biden in 2017. And I told Corn Pop. I said, let me tell you something, son. You try jumping in this pool with a pomade, I'm going to get the change. I'm going to put it into rust. And I'm going to scrape that by the barnacle by the side of the pool. And I'm going to tell William O. Peterson and Reverend Cooley. I said, what is he talking about? He says these imaginary people with these, remember the black kids saying, who is this? Who is this man? And they're going to tell her, Kamala, if you want to be the president, you're not going to go on these shows anymore. You're not going to hang around the AM morning show and wherever it is with, Slicky D and whoever. That's just not going to happen. You are not going to be a part of anything where somebody could be saying something vile, say the F-bomb, say God knows what. You are not. It is over. That was the old Kamala. We now want you to be president. Do you understand what that is? Say goodbye to that one. Are you ready to do that? You're not going to be going on any kind of Drew Barrymore show. You're not going to be going on The View. You're not going to be doing that. You're now going to be president. You did want that, right? You can handle this, right? In fact, you're never going to leave that White House ever again. You know that, right? You know that. You're going to have to learn briefings. You're going to have to deal with stuff. And you're going to have the weight of the world on you. And they're going to smell blood. And you're going to be dealing with, and somebody brought it up today, to be very, very frank, because let's be adults here, my friends. You're going to be dealing with a lot of folks from Eastern Europe, from China, from various countries that do not necessarily, they may not embrace necessarily the status of a woman president as quickly as, in fact, you might talk to Georgia Maloney and others and find out how is this, because you're going to have to be, in many respects, exceptional. And if you think you're going to go to the G7 and you're going to start dancing like Kimberly Guilfoyle and doing that, if you think you're going to be hanging around, if you think you're going to fill your office with trannies and trans activists and gay or whatever, because you love this for some reason. We've noticed this. You love this. That is over. You do realize that, right? You're going to have to be a person of the people, everybody. You don't have a constituency. Your constituency is America. So whatever connections you thought, whatever you did, and in the old days, they used to have this wonderful word, negritude. I don't think anybody uses it anymore, but the idea of blackness or whiteness or race, which is every other word. Joe Biden said it. Joe Biden is a black female. Joe Biden, I don't know if you heard this, Joe Biden is a black woman and a black vice president. So if ever you want to extol the virtues of blackness or whatever as there, you can't do that anymore. That's over. That's done. All your old friends, sorry. And that screwy, loopy daughter-in-law of yours, I don't know what her problem is. You can't be on the phone. You can't be texting. You can't do this stuff. You cannot. You cannot do it. Every single thing you do is got to be scrambled, and you are going to have some really scary stuff. And oh, by the way, Bibi Netanyahu's on the phone. Bibi is going to push you around like you cannot believe. Bibi is going to try to make mincemeat out of you. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to tell you, your old constituency, young, democratic, hipster, progressive, they're not going to take too kindly to you continuing with the program, showing this absolute vociferous coordination with the Israeli effort. Don't ever forget that. You may not like that, may not bother you. So get ready. They loved you before, and they are ready to attack you like you cannot believe. And you're going to bring in your own. You're not going to be using Karine Jean-Pierre. She is done, spent, through, finished. You're going to need your own Luca Brasi. And if you think about Tyler Cherry, remember that one? That winner? That ain't going to work. So who are you going to get? And let me also tell you something. If you think you're going to do this nonsense, this logolalic gibberish of, and the 4th of July is the 4th of July, which is the 4th day of the 7th month. 7 minus 4 is 3. 3, the Trinity. 3 is not the loneliest number in the world, as Harry Nilsson is saying. Yeah, you can't do this. Every single word. You've been living a good life. You've been hiding out. You've been doing nothing. You come out and you say some stupid things. Nobody really says anything. You just want to be Kamala. You want to be Willie's girl, Montel's girl. You're not going to be anybody's girl now. You're going to be, perhaps, by the way, she's not going to win. She's not going to win. We'll get to that in a moment. But you do realize, and the donors realize this, and the Democrats realize this, and you've got the military-industrial complex, the war unit, the war party, you've got war profiteers, you've got Victoria Nuland, you've got NATO, you've got all these guys. They're looking at her and this. You're on board, aren't you? By the way, now, I keep saying by the way too much. I'm sorry. I sound like somebody the other day. In addition, Zelensky and Ukraine are saying, no, we never agreed to any kind of Tucker thing, which made no sense to me at all. And if I hear one more time the Tucker short, I'm watching YouTube and I get these shorts of him and some Australian reporter asking him something stupid about, I don't know if I can take it anymore. Let it go. So let me just tell you something. Do you understand what's going on now? Kamala, do you want this? Kamala, do you understand? They're talking about you. And if you say, no, I'm not, no, I'll pass. I'll let, you know what? I'm a good vice president. Why don't you pick, hey, Gavin, come here. Oh, let me ask you a quick question. Nobody's ever asked this, but I will. Does Kamala Harris want to be the nominee? She might say, look, I'm not going to win. So, yeah, for history, I can say it. I can say, you know what? I was a nominee. Geraldine Ferraro was the first vice president. Shirley Chisholm, actually, the first woman candidate. I think the woman who ran, what was it, Frederick Douglass? So, I mean, she'll be in the history books, kind of, sort of. It's already been done. Geraldine Ferraro was vice president. Of course, Hillary Clinton ran, and, so whatever. But do you think she wants this? Do you think she wants this? Do you think? Oh, and by the by, to show you how effective the Lionel Nation show is, you're going to see all kinds of requests for donations from all kinds of parties because they recognize the worth of having you as their friend. So consider that to be an honor, a compliment. Do you think Kamala wants this? Does anybody really think this? No, she doesn't. Does she really understand? No, 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 no. So what are they doing? I don't know. Now, this goes to the next issue. What do you think Democratic backers think? What do you think about Democratic fundraisers? What do you think Democratic, the elders? What do you think they think about this? They're right now saying, I don't know what the hell's going on. Right now, as we speak, there's story after story after story regurgitating. Van Jones says this. Jay Tapper said this. So-and-so says this. Rumors have it this. He'll be out. He's going to stay. He's going to leave. The governors met. The governors like him. The governors don't like him. They want him in. They want him out. You're just hearing nothing but confused, just a litany, a cacophony of stories. You're just going to say, what next? It's the same thing. It was a disaster. How bad was it? What does Trump think? Trump is, believe it or not, he is just, I think he's doing everything perfect. Let them talk about Biden. Mr. President, don't say anything for a while. Just talk about Biden. The first time you say, that's why they try to catch him in this secret mic thing, so they can change the subject. But if you don't say anything, all you can do about Biden. We talked to some friends today, friends of the family, younger folks. I said, so did you see the debate? And we never, I think they can kind of guess where we are coming from, but we never say anything. And we said something to the fact, and one member of the couple, who I never thought was necessarily politically, like a political, junkie or anything. She said, I can't believe what I saw. You do understand the enormity. And as someone said, the act of providence. This was a disaster nobody has ever seen before. We always like bloopers and gaffes and oops and things like that. This was something that just, I still can't believe it. And you know what I can't believe? It's not what you think. I can't believe, yes, that he did it because he's been doing this forever. It's the fact that the Democrats cared so little about this. How do you think we look? And I'm going to go back to this again. What does Netanyahu do? First of all, does he come and he meet with Biden? Does he meet with a guy who's brain dead? What does this mean? Does Bibi then say, hey, look, I was here anyway. Oh, Bibi, come on, man. You're hitting them up for this stuff now? No, I was scheduled to. Come on. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Anything Bibi says, we had a constructive discussion. No, you didn't have a constructive discussion. No, you didn't. Anything he says sounds suspect. Anything. The big Stephanopoulos, the big debate, they're trying to make a big deal out of this. He's saying, I have to go to bed early. How did this happen? Xi Jinping, who has the one expression, you notice this? He has that one expression. It's like that poor girl who died, Natalie Holloway. Remember her on Aruba? She has one picture, one expression on different whatever the scene. She's in a car, she's in high school. It's the same. It's almost like they Photoshop it. It's the one look all the time. That Xi Jinping, one expression, doesn't laugh, doesn't cry, just stares, kind of looks. He has that one look. Putin looks like Charlie Callis compared to this guy. But in any event, close your eyes and think about this. He meets Kamala Harris for the first time. And you are the interpreter. Now, Xi Jinping probably can speak more, more English than you think. Most people do, but let's assume he doesn't. Imagine being the interpreter for Kamala Harris. And you said, Mr. President, she said that a community bank is part of the community. That's the name, community. And the community is many people, and the bank is. And Xi Jinping would say, Are you crazy? Did she said that? Sir, I swear to God, she said that. I need another interpreter. Did she say that? Yeah. What does that mean? Is that code? I don't know what that means. Imagine the Amislam person and the community bank is it's gibberish. And there are, oh my God, there are endless quips, takes, compendia. This is what you're doing? Wouldn't you love to be on CNN? I would give anything to look at whomever, I don't know, that Caitlin or Van Jones, and look at him and say, are you kidding me? No, seriously. Dude, bruh, as they say, are you kidding me? The Democrats are thinking about, whoa. Kamala Harris, I don't care what she is, unless maybe there's some rule about the money or something. Are you telling me that you think she's a good candidate? You're the same people who told me that Biden wasn't pazzo. Remember that? You said that. You said he was okay. You said that. And now you, the same person who said he's okay for all these months and years, now you're telling me she's okay and that you like this and that she's incredible. And Meager Brzezinski and Joe and all these people are going to say she's fantastic, top of her game. I have a friend of mine, and he sends me these little memes. He has no original idea. Very smart guy. And I write him the most, I shouldn't say this, but I said, you are, and your party are royally effed. I spelled it out. I said it. So royally effed. I think I even used the word horse as some kind of like an adjective. I said, you should be ashamed of yourself. How can you be seen in public? Are you kidding me? You must be, and I drive him crazy. You're going to be humiliated. You do realize that Trump was going to beat Biden, and you're going to put Kamala Harris in there, and she's going to beat Trump? That people are going to say, now we're talking. I might have been on the fence before, might have been independent, might have been undecided. But that woman, when she talks about community banks, oh, no. It doesn't get any better than that. You count me in. You go, girl. I'm in. Where have you kept her? I never heard such a breath of fresh air, a bofa, as we call it. Somebody so incredibly alive, somebody who was so incredibly pertinent, attuned, somebody able to absolutely just zero in. God, where have... And then I want you to join me and imagine what the first debate is with Trump going to be. The first debate with Trump. So let me just say this, and because nothing is changing, but yet if you watch the news, there's all kinds of stuff. It is over. Over. Judas Goat Barbecue says, Kamala's favorite phrase is, what can be unburdened by what has been, including the same hand gestures each time. She sounds like a bad Hallmark card. Absolutely. When I was in high school one time, we did this thing in our senior year called a retreat. We went to the Franciscan Center just to get out, just to get away. Oh, there she is, our favorite. Edie Crowley says, Trump and Kamala should have a dance contest. Well, I don't think Trump would fare that well, but it would be, listen, for her, she's praying for that, dear Edie. So years ago, we were at this retreat, and I'm sitting with my friend Carlos and his brother Albert. And we were sitting there, and the priest was saying, it was like kind of like, it was 1976, kind of that hippy dippy kind of, hey, we're all sitting around and sharing in the Eucharist or whatever that was called. And people are going around the room. And if anybody wants to say anything, all we needed was these finger bells like Buddhists or something. And somebody said, yeah, I want to be a better Catholic. Yeah, that's it. Wonderful. That's great, Greg. Thanks. Anybody else? And I look at Albert and I'm saying, who am I? Very good. That was very good. Now people are catching the somebody else came in. Where am I? What who are you? And it devolved, and the priest didn't catch on. It was one of those funny moments. It was hysterically funny because we're just laughing at this. That's Kamala. To be, let's see what we got here. Kamala Harris, funniest quotes. Let's put vague. Kamala, here we go. Kamala Harris quotes that prove we're living in Veep. This is her quote. These are her actual quotes. Okay. This is from The Conservateur, and this was by Aaron Spellman, July 21st. Only a year and a half into the current administration, it's hard to believe that our nation's top girl boss, Vice President Kamala Harris, has produced such a high volume of wisdom. There was no denying that Harris has a way with words. Each complex foreign policy explanations to groundbreaking musings on the COVID-19 pandemic, our VP has been a sage for the people. Here's some of my favorite philosophical soliloquy. Perhaps it sounds as though she's shouting her stream of consciousness into a void from a babbler in chief. Listen. The governor and I were all doing a tour of the library here and talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time in terms of what we need to do to lay these wires, what we need to do to create these jobs. And there is such great significance to the passage of time when we think about a day in the life of our children. We will work together and continue to work together to address these issues and to work together as we continue to work, operating from the new norms, rules, and agreements that we will convene to work together. We will work on this together. On the terrible Highland Park shooting, she said, we got to take this stuff seriously as you are, because you have been forced to take this seriously. As for COVID, she said, it is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day. When it comes to Ukraine, she says, so Ukraine is a country in Europe. It exists next to another country called Russia. Russia is a bigger country. Russia is a powerful country. Russia decided to invade a smaller country called Ukraine. So basically, that's wrong. Now, you may think I'm kidding. You may think I'm making this up. You might think that I'm just, this cannot be. Well, it is. It is. Demetrius de Compagne. Thank you so much. Did you ever think we live in this world? Seriously. I mean, we've got an old man who is delirious and suffering from delirium, who is talking about being a black woman. And you've got Mohandas Gandhi over here talking about, I don't know what, kind of like Deepak Chopra unplugged. And do you think there's any chance? Now, let me ask you something. Let's assume it's Kamala or anybody else. Can Trump lose? Yes or no? Can Trump lose? Yes or no? And do we have everything? What is that? Did I hear something? Oh. We're getting ready for the explosions over the Hudson River. Do you hear me? Ladies and gentlemen, we have not heard from this young man in a while. You know him, you love him, from parts unknown, weight unknown. From Roma, I give you Vatican scholar, and a man who actually brought life to the phrase "Quousque tandem abutere Catalina patientia nostra" from the first Catalinic oration of Cicero. I give you the one, the only, the ineffable, the inimitable, the ineluctable, Dr. Eric Thaddeus Walters. Dr. Walters, happy July 4th. USA now is isolated in the mind of the 80% of the world. Europeans are preoccupied with regional issues to which USA denizens remain oblivious. Thank you. UK elections upset tonight, to be followed by France Le Pen upset on Sunday. Eyes are on the Vatican. Here, 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 here. And thank you, dear friend. Do you see what is happening right now? I want to see Nigel Farage soar to the top. I want to see him absolutely soar. I want him to hit the heights of because he's one of us. I saw the Tories were just blasted into oblivion. We'll see what happens. But you see, and this is important, and I think our good friend Eric would venture to say, this notion of this right wing is a different story. Charlie Callie say, is she trying to rip off Descartes? Ah, yes. And as we say, don't put Descartes before Dehorse. Get it? Do you get it? KZ Gypsy Muse, ladies and gentlemen, creation of a Happy Fourth was part of the destruction of the USA. What does Happy Fourth mean? The meaning of Independence Day systematically erased. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what I'm finding? Maybe you fine folks can hear this. I'm finding people that I used to think years ago were kind of like nothing that great, nothing that terrific, nothing that I thought was. I don't know what the word is. I'm not really sure what the word is. But as I said, Roger Waters. I thought he was kind of like a showman. He makes absolute total sense. I was listening to somebody who for the longest time used to annoy me for a host of reasons, so I thought she never said anything. Monica Crowley. Monica Crowley said it was like she was echoing me. I thought, oh my God, a kindred spirit talking about the destruction of the foundation of this country. It was glorious to hear somebody say and to agree with basically everything I thought. I'm hearing people, I'm seeing this new world. And here is the best part. There is nobody who can possibly listen to Kamala or Joe and say, I like them. If you don't like Trump and you're a Democrat, you can maybe hold your nose and vote. But what you're doing is you're voting for a committee. Just tell me, I'm voting for them because I can't vote Republican. Okay, fine. I understand it. If George Santos, who I think is the worst candidate, I don't even know what he is. If George Santos were the Republican nominee against Hillary Clinton, I think I would just vote right in my own name, or I would hold, but I wouldn't vote for him just because, well, I hate Hillary. I'm sorry. I can't vote for somebody that I don't respect. I told you the last two, the I guess the penultimate election. No, actually, yes. I voted for me. I wrote my name in when Trump ran the first time against Hillary, and wrote my name in when it was Romney and whatever it was. I just thought I've got to write something. I just can't pick. I don't like any of these people. None of these people. There's nobody in their right mind who can listen to this. And what Eric said is right. How do you expect people to know what's going on here if you say, do you see the wave that's coming? See, there was a time in this country when people, maybe during World War II, were obviously interested in what was going on regarding Germany and others. And let me also say something regarding the Vatican. There is a word, a phrase that was so incredible, where, and I think Eric remembers this. I don't want to say it because somebody might take umbrage at it, but there was it was a slang word that the Pope had said something to the effect that he wanted to keep a lot of the folks out of the seminary, the priesthood, who were, I think, effeminate might be the easiest way to say this. He was very clear about this. He said, we don't want this. Xi Jinping talked about the feminization of men. And it was this group of people who recognize the fact that we are losing by virtue of years and years of having this the sexes muddled and obfuscated, and the clarity as to the differentiations erased by virtue of this idiocy. But that's the Vatican. And there was, what was it called? Oh, God. It was the encyclical. Maybe you would know this. It was the encyclical, because there was a bad time. One of the worst popes ever, when it comes to that particular area, was J.P. Deuce, John Paul II. Wotiwa. And when Ratzenberg came in, he was better. And that's the guy who played, of course, Cliff on Cheers. Sorry. But he came in and he changed it. So there is this movement. And it's a result of this the pendulum swinging back the other way. Marine Le Pen. They're making Marine Le Pen out to be like this absolute lunatic. Is she really? No. And what they're doing is, the people who still have a stranglehold on the media are the far radical left, who will come at you and say you're homophobic, you're a right wing, you're a nationalist, you're racist. And we're not. Nobody is. So we are winning. This is bigger than anything else. This is where I believe the notion of God coming in and changing the direction of this makes complete and total sense. I ask you the question, assuming it's Kamala Harris, can she win? The one question that I want to ask, and whether it's Lara Trump or whether it's whoever the hell it is, can you tell me that on election day, there will not be this onslaught of very interesting people showing up by the droves, millions all over the country, miraculously voting for Kamala Harris or Joe Biden in battleground states, toss-up states, because they are newly minted migrants who, pursuant to some legislation, some provision, some administrative rule you know nothing about, have been granted voting status. Can you assure me that's not taking place? Can you assure me that the Democratic Party won't be able to say, oh, we won? And we won by having these new people vote for the first time. And they didn't, it's not illegal. We'll count every vote. Every single vote is legit. There's none of this Dinesh D'Souza people bringing in, ballots at 3 a.m. or burning them or throwing them away. No cardboard at Philly. No. Can you tell me that? And nobody's talking about it. I'm assuming that's already been looked at. I'm assuming. Because what scares me with the Democrats, these people, and it's not the Democrats, it's the shadow government. They are the most vile. They are the most despicable. They are the most ruthless. They are absolutely without peer in terms of how they bend and change and destroy the rules. They don't care about the rules. They don't care about the franchise. They don't care about anything. Anything. Period. That's the only thing. That's my only fear. If that is not to happen, if that can be guaranteed against, we're in. It's done. It's finished. It's absolutely finished. And I cannot say enough how smart it is for President Trump not to say anything. Sit back, play golf, don't say anything. Don Jr., don't say anything. Keep your mouth shut. Christopher Shelton, ladies and gentlemen, says, Washington crossing the Delaware painting is inspiring. It is. What do you think Mr. Washington would say about today? What do you think? Once you go to Mrs. L's Instagram, she's far more prolific with that. There's a picture of a picture of her and me, I should say, in front of the Constitutional Hall right there in Philadelphia, where it all happened, right there. It is the most, it really gets you. We made it a point. We had a wonderful time. We went to Boston and I wanted to see how this thing started, where it started, and how these folks risked their life. If they were caught, they would have been hanged. This was, and these folks were absolutely wealthy. They had nothing to worry about. They would have fared just fine under some kind of British rule, which they had been. The Brad says, Geraldo Rivera, 81 today, 4th of July. Love you. Horrendo Revolver, Jerry Rivers. They bounced his ass. They got tired of him. Remember that? They just got tired of him. Remember one thing, my friends. No matter what you do, and what he did during his day was absolutely incredible. Geraldo Rivera, what's so interesting about Geraldo is his nose has grown. He has either a rhinophyma or some kind of, acne rosacea or something, but his nose is like almost Carl Malden-esque. But remember, the first time we saw the Zapruder film was in his show, Good Night America, on the Geraldo Rivera show. Think about that. And he's fairly lucid. So it's not the fact that Joe is 80. There are other people who are 80 as well. So my friends, remember this. We have been through so much. I don't have to tell you this. We have been through so much. We have been through sheer and absolute hell since we first met each other. What we've been through with between Trump and with COVID or whatever, I have to calm down. Have you noticed this? Any of you fine folks feel like you don't want to get too excited? You don't want to get ahead of your skis, as they say. You don't want to get too much into this because you can't believe what's happening. Judas Goat Barbecue says, I think President Washington would be appalled. He was known as the American Cincinnatus because he voluntarily gave up power. He also, when they were looking for the name, what is going to be the king? He wanted nothing king-like. He wanted president. And he loathed and eschewed the notion of any of the trappings of king or anything along those lines. Tench Cox, C-O-X-C, the Pennsylvanian, was, I think, father of the militia. I did a pilgrimage to his grave in Philly, took pictures of that. He is one of my favorites. Read his words about this notion, how we need this. And whenever somebody talks about this, they say, well, they were slaveholders. Yeah, maybe they weren't. They didn't have any particular concern with women at the time. Yeah, that's true. They had the fugitive slave clause, which said if a slave escaped, you had to turn it back. Yeah, that's true. Anything else? Anything else we should do? Should we just eliminate, abnegate our sense of fealty because of 13th Amendment took care of that, got rid of that. Regarding, by the way, the 13th Amendment is the only constitutional provision that can be violated by a private citizen. Did you know that? Yes, you did. So when I say I'm proud, it's the only thing I've known, being here in America. I like American people. Not all of them. I like our culture. Demures de campagne, kakistocracy is today's, yes. Democracy, yes, as is, crowd, not, what is that? Governance by crowd is called governance by crowd. Oh God, what's the name of it? You know what I'm talking about. This is killing me. I knew this is killing me. What's the name? What's the name of this? Come on. What do you call the name of it? What do you call the name when you are ruled by the crowd? Mobocracy. Nope. That's not it. There's a name for it. I like words like oligopsony and strange. Mob rule is called a ochlocracy or mobocracy. You are correct, but ochlocracy, a pejorative. By the way, timocracy is ruled by the rich and the preferred. That kakistocracy is a government run by the worst, least qualified, the most unscrupulous of people. I could say we almost have that today, with the exception of the president. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. L and I are now going to prepare ourselves to watch on the settee on the divan, look out and about over the Hudson, prepare ourselves for this cavalcade of explosions tonight in celebration of the birth of our country. So, Pollyanna forever, thank you. Team Alaska, Jean Marie, Judas Goat Barbecue, Edie Crowley, Demure de Compagne, thank you. Eric Thaddeus Walters, thank you, dear friend, old friend, loyal friend. Thank you so much. Charlie Calais as well to you. KZ Gypsy Muse, another favorite. Christopher Shelton, the Brad. Thank you so much for all of this. Let me remind you as well, dear friends, that Mrs. L is doing a wonderful job. I ask you to follow her. Listen specifically to what she says. The work she is doing is without peer. The total amount of time focused. And please follow her, Lynn's Warriors, on YouTube. This is her link right there. A very, very simple hookup, as it were, to follow as well. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. God bless America. Oh, and I always want to, I've got this hat collection. This is my favorite Trump. I don't like these hats usually because I always feel like I look like one of these usual jadrules who are do it for different reasons. But this is the one I like the most. The rules have changed. This is a different world. It's different. Stop Make America Great Again. Yeah, that's true. But everything is, we will never be the same after this race, after this debate, and after our time together. We love you. Thank you, dear friends. Thank you for your support. God bless America. God bless this republic. Not this democracy, but this constitutional republic. Enjoy the evenings. Remember Arthur Fiedler, the Boston Pops? Remember that every year? They still have that? It's wonderful to see this. So enjoy it. Watch it. Again, thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow again, 8 a.m., dear friends, as we continue our discussion, as we wax rhapsodic as to the course and the direction of this wonderful country of ours. All right, dear friends, we love you. Have a great and glorious night. And don't forget, until we meet again, remember these words. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Da-da.